Happy Monday, y'all. So today I want to break down the sort of mechanics of theta healing in terms of belief work and downloads, and kind of share with you what I'm tracking in my own experience around the work I did on Saturday. A lot of the belief work I did then and how that's showing up in my system, what I'm noticing is different in my system now. And also what brings me to the place of, oh, I need to do some belief work now on myself, like what that experience is like. So I'll start there. And there's probably lots of different avenues. One of the most typical avenues for knowing that belief work needs to happen is feeling some kind of block, some kind of like, oh my God, I keep doing this same thing in my life. And for me, this showed up in the form of obsessive thoughts. And I have a tendency towards obsessive behavior sometimes. I'm not diagnosably OCD, and that would be a different story if I were, but I have a pretty, normal range version of obsessive thoughts happening in my world. And that goes up when I'm in a lot of stress. So I know that about myself. And so I'm noticing my brain obsessing over a thing. Those thoughts are just this constant hamster wheel that I can't get off of, that is creating this stressful response in my body. I'm not feeling good in my body. I'm feeling emotions of anger and of stress. So that's a good indication that maybe there's some work that I can do. There's this hamster wheel kind of feeling of whatever I'm feeling right now is not actually serving me. There's the emotional experience that can serve me, like, oh, there's something I really need to feel and move through. And I talked about that in my anger video. But there comes a point where it's actually just this continuous cycle that I don't know how to get off of, and the feeling isn't actually serving me anymore. I've gotten what I need to get out of that feeling, and now I need to have a different body state, and I don't know how to do it because the thoughts are perpetuating the feelings, and then the feelings are perpetuating the thoughts. So, belief work. And on Saturday, I did this in the form of resentment work and looking at all of that stuck energy that was holding court in my body, and coming to find a belief that I needed to completely take care of myself 100% of the time, and feeling like, thank you for that belief, that has served me well, it's no longer serving me, removing that belief and replacing it with, I know how to receive support, and I know how to discern where good support is coming from in a good way, downloads like that. And so what I'm actually doing in clearing a belief is I'm using the theta meditation. So I'm going into the theta brain state, and I'm using this meditative state to actually encourage my brain pathways to be like, no, not that, but we're gonna strengthen this pathway of, I know how to receive support. And there's something really powerful about not just thinking it in my beta brainwaves, but actually thinking about it, not thinking about it, but actually bringing it into a deeper, slower brainwave state. Then I'm replacing that with a download. So it's like, hello, this is this pathway that we want to encourage here. So a couple days after doing that work and feeling like, oh, that was a really significant belief that I changed there for me. It was a pretty big theme in my life that I've been living. And then, so how does that change my body state, my brain state in the day-to-day? And what I noticed almost immediately was a certain kind of calmness and distance from that hamster wheel. It's not that the hamster wheel completely disappeared. I can still access it in my brain. I'm like, oh, there's that hamster wheel. But instead of it being like this magnet to the rest of me where I have to get on it, and I'm like, oh, shoot, I'm on this hamster wheel again. How'd that happen? It's over there. And there's actually more choice that I have of whether or not I get on that. I can actually feel this more centeredness in my body where I can actually choose to turn my attention to something else, Whereas before, when I was in that obsessive state, I didn't feel like I had a choice. So it's kind of magic, but it's also not this like, oh, and then I'm perfect and healed and everything's different and I'm a completely different human. It's I'm actually just making this small but pretty profound shift in my outlook, and the theta wave is helping me do that in a pretty significant way, so that it's way less effort to let that hamster wheel just kind of be there. Now, depending on my life experience, depending on how many other belief systems might be attached to that hamster wheel, that magnet might start to pull me again, right? And so I'm also watching that. And if that's true, then there's more either feelings to feel or beliefs to clear. And through that process, we're able to gain more and more freedom and more choice about what we put our attention to. And then what our attention is going to is actually going to influence our body state, influence our emotional state. So I feel really relieved to be way more calm and way more centered in the last couple of days after that belief work I did. So thanks again for listening. If this is something that is intriguing to you, come join a training and learn how to do this work on yourself or with others. Have a good one.